Hello everyone, and welcome to this deep dive into global affairs. If you're tuning into the news right now, you're bombarded with images of choppers, elite troops, and the high-stakes capture of a South American head of state. Outlets are framing it as a win for freedom and stability, dissecting the operation strategy and its ripples in D.C. But that's just the spectacle designed to distract from the real stakes. This wasn't about politics or ethics. It was a financial lifeline. To grasp why America risked a bold incursion in Latin America, forget elections or laws. Focus on a stark reality: the dwindling U.S. oil stockpiles and the crumbling dollar oil link. Let's uncover the hidden economic drivers behind this move. To truly comprehend the urgency behind this U.S. action in Venezuela, we need to examine the nation's energy ledger. For years, the narrative pushed by experts has been that America's shale boom achieved full energy self-sufficiency, making it the top global producer and freeing it from reliance on volatile regions like the Middle East or South America. But this is only partially accurate, and in international strategy, partial truths can mislead entirely. While the U.S. does extract huge volumes of oil, much of it is light, high-quality crude. Think of it as premium fuel, easy to refine but not ideal for all needs. The core issue lies in the infrastructure. The vast refining complexes along the Gulf Coast, built decades ago, are optimized for heavier, denser oils, the kind abundant in places like Saudi Arabia or Venezuela. This incompatibility means America can't fully utilize its own output without imports to balance the mix. Historically, Saudi Arabia filled this gap, but that dynamic has shifted dramatically. As we've explored in past content, the kingdom is no longer Washington's reliable supplier. They're slashing output to maintain high prices, aligning with emerging blocs, and brushing off U.S. demands. This leaves a glaring shortfall: where to source the essential heavy crude. With domestic reserves mismatched, the equation turned dire. Compounding this, recent administrations tapped into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, SPR, a safeguard for crises, not everyday politics, to curb rising fuel costs and ease economic pressures. Over the past few years, they've released millions of barrels, driving down prices temporarily, but depleting this vital buffer to levels not seen in decades. As of early 2026, the SPR hovers around 413 million barrels, a far cry from its peak capacity, leaving the country exposed amid escalating global tensions. As these stocks hit rock bottom, regional hotspots intensified, risking supply disruptions. Official scanned options: Canada is maxed out, Russia is off-limits due to sanctions, and Saudi Arabia is pivoting away. This spotlighted Venezuela, home to the planet's largest proven reserves, over 300 billion barrels of heavy crude in the Orinoco region, perfectly suited for U.S. refineries. Past efforts to pressure Caracas through economic isolation, alternative leadership pushes, and indirect overthrows failed. Instead, Venezuelan oil increasingly flowed to alternatives like China via unregulated channels. With potential spikes to triple-digit prices amid conflicts, the U.S. faced economic peril, inflation surges, weakened currency, and possible downturns. Buying at market rates was unsustainable. Allowing rivals to dominate was worse. The strategy evolved from containment to direct control. Recent diplomacy hinted at sanction relief, but as reserves critically lowered, talks turned aggressive. The January 3, 2026, operation, a targeted strike capturing key figures, wasn't humanitarian. It was about securing those vast fields. It resembled a corporate acquisition of undervalued assets under duress. The timing aligned with climbing global prices and refill challenges without fiscal strain. Washington sought a compliant source for discounted supplies, unwilling to let a former ally like Saudi dictate terms. This raw power play positions the military as energy enforcers, but it risks backlash. While addressing short-term shortages, it hastens broader financial unraveling as observers question U.S. intentions. Diving deeper, the core mismatch in oil types underscores America's predicament. Shale production yields light crude, but legacy refineries demand heavier variants for efficient operation. This structural flaw has long been overlooked in public discourse, yet it's central to the vulnerability. Saudi Arabia once bridged this, But with their strategic pivot reducing exports, exploring new partnerships, the gap widened. No formal petrodollar pact was renewed, opening doors to multi-currency trades. The SPR drawdowns exacerbated this, used politically to tame inflation but leaving buffers thin. Now, with reserves low and global flashpoints threatening cuts, alternatives were scarce. Venezuela's Orinoco Belt offered the perfect fit, immense heavy oil deposits. Sanctions aimed to isolate, but oil slipped to China. Economic stakes rose. High prices could tank growth. The raid secured access, but at what cost? It may plug immediate gaps, yet fuels distrust globally, pushing nations toward alternatives. At the heart of this is the petrodollar's erosion, the post-1970s setup where oil trades in dollars, creating endless demand for U.S. currency. This allowed deficit spending without backlash. But BRICS are dismantling it. Russia demands rubles, UAE uses rupees, Saudi eyes yuan. Venezuela's rumored shift to BRICS currencies, including yuan integration, crossed a threshold. This could cascade, reducing dollar holdings and spiking rates. The operation installs a per-dollar regime, enforcing USD trades and inviting U.S. firms. Yet it reveals weakness, coercion over competition. Resource nations now fear similar fates, accelerating de-dollarization. This move may stabilize oil flows short-term, but it erodes global norms. U.S. hypocrisy on sovereignty, condemning others while acting unilaterally, undermines credibility. Allies criticize, while adversaries like China fortify alternatives. Saudi may hasten diversification, BRICS strengthen. The petrodollar's end signals a multipolar shift, where force can't halt economic tides. This raid marks not victory, but the empire's admission of frailty. Thanks for watching this breakdown. If it opened your eyes to the hidden forces at play, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights. Share your thoughts below. Was this about oil or something else? See you next time.